Sacred, however, would the infirmities and errors of a good man be, in my eyes, if they were only displayed in a private circle, if the venial fault only rendered the wit anxious, like a celebrated beauty, to raise admiration on every occasion, and excite emotion, instead of the calm reciprocation of mutual esteem and unimpassioned respect. Such vanity enlivens social intercourse, and forces the little great man to be always on his guard to secure his throne, and an ingenious man, who is ever on the watch for conquest, will, in his eagerness to exhibit his whole store of knowledge, furnish an attentive observer with some useful information, calcined by fancy and formed by taste. And though some dry reasoner might whisper that the arguments were superficial, and should even add that the feelings which are thus ostentatiously displayed are often the cold declamation of the head and not the effusions of the heart, what will these shrewd remarks avail when the witty arguments and ornamental feelings are on a level with the comprehension of the fashionable world, and a book is found very amusing? Even the ladies, sir, may repeat your sprightly sallies, and retail in theatrical attitudes many of your sentimental exclamations. Sensibility is the manie of the day, and compassion the virtue which is to cover a multitude of vices, whilst justice is left to mourn in sullen silence and balance truth in vain. In life, an honest man with a confined understanding is frequently the slave of his habits and the dupe of his feelings, whilst the man with a clearer head and colder heart makes the passions of others bend to his interest. But truly sublime is the character that acts from principle and governs the inferior springs of activity without slackening their vigour, whose feelings give vital heat to his resolves, but never hurry him into feverish eccentricities. However, as you have informed us that respect chills love, it is natural to conclude that all your pretty flights arise from your pampered sensibility, and that, vain of this fancied preeminence of organs, you foster every emotion till the fumes, mounting to your brain, dispel the sober suggestions of reason. It is not in this view surprising that when you should argue you become impassioned, and that reflection inflames your imagination instead of enlightening your understanding. Quitting now the flowers of rhetoric, let us, sir, reason together, and believe me, I should not have meddled with these troubled waters in order to point out your inconsistencies, if your wit had not burnished up some rusty, baneful opinions, and swelled the shallow current of ridicule till it resembled the flow of reason, and presumed to be the test of truth. I shall not attempt to follow you through horseway and footpath, but, attacking the foundation of your opinions, I shall leave the superstructure to find a centre of gravity on which it may lean till some strong blast puffs it into the air, or your teeming fancy, which the ripening judgment of 60 years has not tamed, produces another Chinese erection to stare at every turn the plain country people in the face who bluntly call such an airy edifice a folly. The birthright of man, to give you, sir, a short definition of this disputed right, is such a degree of liberty, civil and religious, as is compatible with the liberty of every other individual with whom he is united in a social compact, and the continued existence of that compact. Liberty, in this simple, unsophisticated sense, I acknowledge, is a fair idea that has never yet received a form in the various governments that have been established on our beauteous globe. The demon of property has ever been at hand to encroach on the sacred rights of men, and to fence round with awful pomp laws that war with justice. But that it results from the eternal foundation of right, from immutable truth, who will presume to deny that pretends to rationality, if reason has led them to build their morality and religion on an everlasting foundation, the attributes of God? I glow with indignation when I attempt methodically to unravel your slavish paradoxes, in which I can find no fixed first principle to refute. I shall not therefore condescend to show where you affirm in one page what you deny in another, and how frequently you draw conclusions without any previous premises. It would be something like cowardice to fight with a man who had never exercised the weapons with which his opponent chose to combat, and irksome to refute sentence after sentence in which
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.